You're looking at a star here. And yes, I find dog images in stars. And yes, I talk about how I think they could be holographic in nature. But I don't want to believe that. I don't want you to believe that. I want to give you good evidence that perhaps these are spiritual like I once thought. You see, when I first discovered this, I 100% thought I discovered that our dogs, our pets, our dogs, our family members, when they passed, their souls went up into the stars because there are dogs in all these stars. And then I started seeing dog images in all the lies of the world, like NASA and the media. Images like this, a close-up of the CGI sun that they will produce to you as not being 93 million miles away, and it just happens to be a dog in it. So what that did was it made me start to be very skeptical of the dogs I was seeing in the stars. It made me curious, it made me wonder. And I'm not claiming to know, I'm just trying to give you the information I have so you can make your best assumption or decision, but I think it's important information to have. So images like this made me start to question what was up in the stars. But I think the more I think about it, and the more I see things, and the more I come across people like Chris Bledsoe, who wrote the book UFO of God, and how he sees orbs of light with beings in them, and he's seen beings of dogs, it makes me start to reevaluate and think that potentially the stars are actual beings, beings of light, souls of our dogs. Let me show you some more. You see, these are all images I've captured. And some of you might not see them all, but in every one I see a dog. This one looks like a husky where its nose is that way, it's kind of looking that way. The far right one, there's one down at the, I can't point, but the bottom left there's a dog. This one I think's obvious. This one we got an eye and its nose and snout. The top ones I think are all pretty obvious, but let me show you. Look at this, and then I want to show you what Chris Bledsoe saw after his dog passed away. This is an orb of light that came to him when he was thinking about his dog after his dog had been hit by a car and killed. And I don't know if you see this, but I see it clear as day that there's a dog in there. And that looks exactly like what I'm looking at up in the stars, except that mine tend to have color. And maybe this was just a night picture or a black and white photo. I don't know. But when I see this, and I see this, and he's taken multiple shots, and sometimes he even gets human-looking faces in these orbs of light. And I have seen these myself. I haven't seen any with faces in them, but I have literally called orbs of light to my presence up in the sky, not up close like this. But it really starts to make me reevaluate the fact that up in the stars could be our dog's souls. And what do dogs do? Dogs give us unconditional love. You could come home and have the crappiest day. You could probably kick that dog, which I never would, but it would probably still lick your face and love you, just like God. Just like God will do. He will give you unconditional love. You can turn your back on him your entire life and make a decision to look to God, and he is going to love you like you never turned your back on him. Now I want to show you a clip from the History Channel with Chris Bledsoe, who wrote this book. I read this book. I would be very skeptical of this book and this History Channel presentation if I myself haven't experienced seeing orbs of light and also experienced what I've seen in the stars. So watch this. You can look up Chris Bledsoe on Instagram too. He has probably thousands of pictures and videos of calling orbs to him. So watch this and then we'll talk about it one more time at the end.
He's pointing now, so maybe he's focusing on one. That would make sense.
He has one. He's got one in the tree line. When we started seeing that intense effort, he spotted an orb in the tree line.
Well, that certainly matches up because everything spiked. And it appears that when we see him actually having the experience, these temporal lobes and the different regions that process language and generate language, when he's not actually speaking, what we saw is those regions starting to be active.
So essentially, he's
those regions in the temporal
listening
lobes.
to something.
Right. That's really interesting. It seems that he is receiving and interpreting verbal communications, and then would be looking to generate speech.
All of that is indicative of a genuine relationship with a phenomenon that presents itself to him.
Yeah.
So as I was looking for things, I came across these lyrics to this amazing song. Stars are the windows of heaven where angels peek through up in the sky. Is that what we're seeing up there? I think it could be, This is way better to me. This sounds way better to me. I'd love to believe this way more than stars being holographic in nature. And I'll tell you one thing. The one thing I know for sure, the one thing I know that I used to never know, is that this place is 100% spiritual. We're living in a spiritual place, and I always thought it was just this physical realm, but it's not. It's spiritual in nature. And there is a battle going on between good and bad, and you got to pick a side. If no side is picking a side, you got to pick the side of good. You got to choose God. And if science and different things are getting in the way, then I encourage you to realize most science is pseudoscience. Most science is theory. Okay, the Big Bang is a theory. Gravity is a theory. Evolution is a theory. But we are taught it as fact. It's not fact. God is fact. The Bible is fact. Stars being dogs, angels, or angels of dogs, maybe that's fact. I hope you enjoyed this. Feel free to ask me questions. I want to leave you with one more video of stars with dogs in them. I know it seems insane, but they're there. Have an awesome day.